Great to be here, Rob.
Well, I'm glad you could be here because you have a plethora of stuff. That's my word of the day, plethora. It's my word a lot. I use that one a lot. But of things that we're going to talk about today about Tin Mountain, and of course, we're always talking about a lot of stuff about Tin Mountain. What a great, for those who are uninformed, what is Tin Mountain? How do you define what Tin Mountain is?
Oh, good question. Tin Mountain Conservation Center is a nonprofit organization that started over 30 years ago in Jackson, New Hampshire, at Tin Mountain, where Tin Mountain is. Since that time, we have developed, and we have a nature learning center in Albany, New Hampshire. We kept the name Tin Mountain Conservation Center, and we still use the land in Jackson. As you know, we have 300 acres of land there, and there are trails open to the public. Our Nature Learning Center, we are in a wonderful solar photovoltaic handcrafted building, which is open to the public Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays from 10 to 3. And people are welcome to tour the facility. And also we have nature trails open even when we're closed, in the evening as well, seasonal. You can go snowshoeing there soon. Yeah. I understand there might be snow flurries coming our way. And the trails are fabulous, and they're well marked, great maps. But our mission is to promote an appreciation of the environment through hands-on learning in the schools, in the community, and through summer camp. And we have expanded our mission. We have a wonderful board of trustees, we have a great staff, and we expanded our mission to include forest sustainability, science research. We have an internship program in the summertime where college students now can do continual study, some on birds, some on brook trout rehabilitation project. It's great programs, and we're in the process of building an intern cabin. So these interns will have a place to stay, as well as guest speakers. Yes.
Well, there's so many great things that Tin Mountain, and of course, I've had kids and I still have kids, and just through the schools and everything else, and the involvement. But I also, I get the emails from you. You send me a lot of emails. But there's always stuff going on. That's what is amazing. I think that people kind of forget. They think, it's in the school or it's the summer camp. But there's programs that are going on all the time down in Albany and around and about. You had some just last week having to tie in with Halloween and the autumn stuff and everything else. And I know you've got a bunch coming up.
Yes, thanks to a lot of sponsors and grant organizations, we have a phenomenal amount of programs. The family program that you mentioned last week, we had people carving pumpkins, going out into the trails with lanterns. Over 100 people came to that, by the way.
That's great.
And then yesterday, I had the good fortune of going with Carol Ford on one of our nature programs to Fryeburg, Maine, to learn the history through cellar holes and different grave sites. Very interesting, learned about the Lovewell Pond battle, as well as some Indian history, and also Afro-American slavery that was happening here, as well as the Freedom Trail.
So, because Tin Mountain involves itself both with the nature end of it, like we have a giant spider here on the table, and that element of it, but also the history of it, like you're talking about the cellar holes and everything else. So it's kind of it's not just one or the other. You bring it all together.
We really do. It's really fun. And I want to mention that our naturalists are phenomenal. And in our schools right now, we're very blessed this year to have had New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, a specific donor, feel that our programs are valuable in the schools. As you know, we had budget cuts, and it's very tight, and it's very difficult for schools right now when people are trying to, I think sometimes we're barking up the wrong tree when we're trying to save our property taxes by cutting the school. Education's important, music's important, art's important, and environmental learning is also important. And we have something very unique in this valley. Our teacher naturalists are in the schools for 32 weeks. The children go out on field trips. They're learning things that otherwise might not be touched. It is a complement to the curricula that's already there, and it's introducing science at a young age. And I did want to say, if it's okay, right now we have a couple of field trips coming up this week. At Tin Mountain, there's the Pine Tree Elementary School's coming. They're going to be looking at our trails and learning about the environment there. They're learning history and geology of New Hampshire. There's also going to be a field trip. Conway Elementary is going to Lord's Hill, and they'll learn about the quartz and the mining there.
Neat.
Recently, Bartlett just went to Livermore in Bartlett, which really shows the history of an old logging town that became defunct in around 1936, but was very active as a small town. And so that's really, really exciting. And at the same time, everything gets tied together, and you might be kind of wondering about this wonderful prop that I have. It is an arachnid. I was going to ask you if it was an insect or an arachnid. And what makes an arachnid?
Because it has 8 legs and only have minimal body parts, I think is what it is. Because an insect has 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. See, I learned something.
Yes. We were talking about this before the program, by the way. He's very good. So that's great. And they also have something called the pedipalps. And they are in the front. They don't have jaws. They have fangs that have the toxin that is a poison that will stun their prey. But they use this as jaws. Can you see this? Carol Ford designed this neat spider. The parts come off so children can kind of learn the different parts and put it back together. It also has the fangs come off. But what's interesting about the pedipalps is it will break down that insect as much as it can, and the enzymes in the body will then disintegrate it.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting about a spider is that they don't have leg muscles. They use hydraulic pressure, which is pretty cool. They jump pretty high. So in the back they have spinnerets, and most spiders will spin silk, and they have different types of silk. Some silk might be sticky, some may not, and they use it for different purposes. Also, what I found out what was interesting, not all spiders create webs. Some of them will go out and try to find their prey, but there's 30,000 different types of spiders.
That's a lot of spiders.
And it started in the true spiders that we see today started in the Triassic period, the same time that dinosaurs evolved. And one of our naturalists right now in the schools is talking about the history and geology of New Hampshire that goes all the way back to time. And she made this great game. And a lot of our programs are fun and hands-on learning, and they go out into the field. So it's good for adults as well as children.
Right, and there's just, there's always stuff going on. And like you mentioned before, in the schools, I know that in our school, it's so integrated that I think a lot of times people don't think that it's a separate program. It's almost like, Tin Mountain's coming, and that's part of what the curriculum is. And I think that that's very important to keep in our school and any of the schools, because it is part of where we are. We're in such a unique place here in the Mount Washington Valley, and being able to learn about the history of the state and learn about the creatures and the flora and fauna and everything else, it's vital. And Tin Mountain just does such an amazing job. And I want to just touch base again about the adult programs, or we won't call them the family programs that you do that's not in the schools, and some of those that might be coming up, and how people can find out about those.
Absolutely. If you go to our website, tinmountain.org, click on events, and you will see the lineup that we have from now all the way to December. We're in the process of creating our winter programs beginning in January. But right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to take out my reading glasses because I'm at that age. And I'll just mention a few that are coming up right now that you might be interested in attending. We have a volunteer morning coffee break, first of all, and we have many events that we need volunteers in. And one of them right now, we have first season coming up, and it's a wonderful auction benefit event that I'll talk about hopefully if I have time a little later. But we do need volunteers on that. We also need sponsors, and we also need items. Last year we had 420 people with over 510 items.
Wow.
We already have a John boat, which I guess is made of aluminum. It's really great going near the rocks.
Yeah.
It's very durable. And we have a beautiful granite bench for a garden. So it's a good start, and we haven't even started soliciting. So we're really excited about that. And you have been an auctioneer at that.
I have been. It's a great event.
Yeah, so if you're interested in volunteering at all for anything, on Tuesdays, November 12th this month, we have a morning coffee break, and you're welcome to meet the other volunteers. It's really a good time. Thanks to Old Village Bakery and the Met Coffee House, we have wonderful pastries and coffee for you. One eco forum coming up is of real interest in November is on climate change. And Roger Zimmerman, who is a certified Maine master naturalist, who studied, well, he did outback skiing at Yellowstone, and he kind of headed that. So something that I think this station in particular, all the people who like the outdoors, would be very much interested in meeting him for that reason. But he's going to be talking about the impacts of climate change in the area. And what's neat about our Eco Forum is Flatbreads provides a pizza, which is really quite wonderful. And so that is at noontime. So many of you that work, you could take your lunch break from noon to 1. We also have coming up an adult nature course called How Old Is That Tree? And Mike Klein, our director, who's a forester, will be leading that program, and I do recommend his programs. He's very knowledgeable, and he makes it very interesting.
Now, of course, this list you're reading from, of course, you can find that online.
Yes.
So all this information is accessible online. And let's touch really quickly before we do have to go about the First Season Festival.
I'll be glad to. This year, the date is March 15th. It's going to be at the Freiburg Academy again. We have wonderful food. It's going to be the same menu. This is last year's brochure. So this will be the 28th, not the 27th, but it'll be the 28th. But I did want to show this flyer because inside we will have all the names of all the sponsors for this year. This brochure has last year's sponsors. We keep them on file, and we also put them on the website. So if anyone's interested in sponsoring the event, we are looking for sponsors. You will get tickets to come to the event. Your name will be right out there, and it's really a good cause. It helps all our programs. And so if any of you are business people and are interested in some way in either donating an item or being a sponsor, please give us a call.
Yeah, it's an incredible event.
Yes, and mark your calendar, March 15th.
So.
Yes, it's a little early. It's the Eyes of March, and we're really excited about that. And it will be at Freiburg Academy again.
That's great. Well, Donna, we want to thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you, Rob.
There is so much of it. We could probably spend another hour just talking about all the things that Tin Mountain is involved with. So the website is, of course,
tinmountain.org.
And you can see it right there. And go on to there, and you can also sign up for the newsletter, which is a great thing to do. I get that emailed to me, so I know the upcoming events, which is great. So that, everyone, there's some that I'll be like, okay, yeah. But there are others that are like, wow, that'll be awesome to go to. And, because there's such a variety, which is what I think is so neat, that, some will strike somebody's fancy, some will strike somebody else's fancy, and you'll be able to enjoy that. So, Donna, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.